Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Week 5 player props to bet. Last week we were phenomenal. Let's keep that momentum going. Also, 2 things I did here. I tried to group some of the same games together so we could get some same game parlay action. And secondly, player props are the new in vogue spread. I honestly think player props are the future with what we're seeing in this league at this point in time. First prop, this is a standalone. We got Jordan Mason under 66.5 rushing yards. Listen, you say Browns defense, I say bet the under. And this is a Vikings offensive line that is reeling. And you saw what happened against the Steelers. Every single possession, offensive line starter goes down for the Minnesota Vikings. And even if the Vikings offensive line was full health, full tilt going into this matchup in London, I would still take the under on Jordan Mason. I just see a game where there's very little offense, and this is the best player prop of the week. I love the one later in the show, but this is automatic. Make it a money pick, and I rarely go crazy betting player props standalone, but give me Jordan Mason under the 66.5 rushing yards. Vikings with 3 offensive linemen out, it looks like. I mean, this is basic. Next prop, we're going to work in this Ravens-Texans game. Christian Kirk over 33.5 receiving yards. I mean, last week we went Nico, and that's fine, and we could go Nico again. Listen, every time I open my phone, I see a new Ravens defensive injury. And I've always liked Christian Kirk. Like, I felt like 2 of the signings that should have popped in this league, like low-key signings, were Kirk to the Texans and Ingram to the Broncos. Neither have popped yet, but they're going to get the ball to Christian Kirk this game. CJ needs to get out of his hand quicker, and that's obviously a plan we're seeing in the Texans offense. I think they have a good week to get going. Give me Christian Kirk over 33.5 receiving yards. And in the same game, next prop, we got Woody Marks. Woody over 2.5 catches. I don't want to play the yards. I actually didn't even look at what the yards were. I just think CJ, like I said, it's the plan with the Texans offense. Obviously, you want to push the jugular and get it down to Nico Collins down the field. And they'll have more time because the Ravens defensive line is all injured. But with that being said, I just think Woody is a quick throw option for Stroud. It works with what they're trying to do, and the kid's got juice. Like, I know everyone's excited about him. I don't want to get Coop's hopes up like that his Texans are going to take off, but I think Woody Marks is going to have a good year, and it's a nice mix with Chubb, and he's going to be on the field on third down. Give me Woody Marks over 2.5 catches. Next prop, and we're going to work this in the Miami Panthers game. And I see offense in this game. I don't know if anyone's with me. I was on the over, and I just see offense. First one, Malik Washington. I was tempted to go the overs on Jalen Waddle, but I just think Malik Washington over 33.5 receiving yards is an option. We utilized him last year when he started getting run for the Dolphins, and he's a quick option. He's a good route runner. I just think Tua's going to get it to him. And we know what the Panthers like to do on defense. They like to sit in a lot of zone, and I think he'll get those underneath routes and looks. I think this is a safe one. And then in the same game, I like Tet McMillan. Outside of Jordan Mason, this is my favorite of the week. And, man, he's an absolute dog. And game flow did not go his way last week with what happened with the Panthers special teams. But I just think he's got a great matchup in this game. I think he's going to be a future elite wide receiver. And I don't think there's many secondaries worse than the Miami Dolphins. Like, you even saw once the Jets finally made a commitment to throw it, once they finally did that commitment, the Jets were able to get big plays. Give me Ted McMillan against the worst secondary in the league, over 63.5 receiving yards. And then let's get to one I'm stealing from Coop. Tua, longest completion, under 33.5 passing yards. Panthers are getting a lot of pressure this year. Not like a lot. It's like not like a top 5, top 10 pressure rate, but they're getting more pressure than last year, although that's not like saying much. But still, it's a star, and we know Tua doesn't like hanging on to it too long. And I'm not saying Jalen Waddle can't break one really easy, but I think this makes sense. And then if you need another one to add in this game, if you're going same game parlay and not betting alone, Bryce Young, over 213.5 passing yards. I mean, Bryce has looked decent. I'm not going to say good. He's looked decent when he's in a positive game script or game flow, whatever phrase you want to use. When he's in a positive game flow, listen, he's competitive, and Chuba Hubbard's going to miss this game, and the Panthers aren't running the ball well, and I think he can throw it. Now, there's not a lot of options, like Xavier Legette's coming back, although that might be a detraction, but I'm going over the 213.5 pass yards. This is a low number against the secondary that is just fucking putrid. Knox prop, this is standalone, but with this Sunday night game, you can build some stuff. Ramondre Stevenson, over 32.5 rushing yards. He only got 9 carries, and I think he had 38, 40 yards last week. I just think you have to run it against the Bills. Bosa and Rousseau are doing really good in the pass rush. I mean, Bosa looks like he's 5 years younger. So I think the Patriots are going to run the damn ball. And after the 2 fumbles against the Steelers, I worried last week that he wouldn't be getting play. And we have the Travion Henderson under last week. I just think this is a Ramondre Stevenson. He gets at least 12 carries, 32.5 rushing yards, over. Knox prop, this is also standalone. Kendry Miller, over 29.5 rushing yards. I've been eyeing this since early in the week, and it was between him and Kamara. I just feel like if you're the Saints, already they're playing regardless of opponent, regardless of game state, whether they're losing by 30 points to the Seahawks, whether they're in a scrap with the 49ers and Bills. One thing this Saints team has been doing early and often is running, and I know there's offensive line injuries, but they're going to run it and put Spencer in good situations. Giants have been putrid against the run, and I think that continues, and I just think you have to run the ball a lot against the Giants, because if this defensive line pins their ears back, I mean, you're in trouble, man. Kendry Miller, over 29.5 rush yards. Next prop, and we got 2 in this game. We got George Pickens, over 70.5 receiving yards. Maybe I'm buying high here, boys. Maybe. It's a possibility. But Dak Prescott against the Jets defense that just isn't disciplined. I don't think Sauce Gardner is going to switch sides. And with Sauce Gardner at this point, doesn't matter. He's making so many ticky-tack penalties, and his play just hasn't been what it needs to be. And this Jets defense is putrid. George Pickens, over 70.5 receiving yards. Last prop in the same game. This is one we started hitting last year, and it always needs to be a staple part of your diet. Breece Hall, over 25.5 receiving yards. Dallas can't cover anyone. I actually I'm kind of optimistic about this Dallas run defense, knock on wood. And I don't want to coach my own bets, but I just think the Jets are going to have to open up this playbook a wee bit more. Like, they can't have those possessions where they're running it 10 times and throwing it one time. I just think you have to let Justin Fields rip. And outside of Garrett Wilson, who the fuck are you going to throw to? Like, I know Taylor's emerging a little bit at tight end. Are you going to throw fucking Alan Lazard? Like, no, you're not. You're going to throw the Breece Hall, and he's going to have some good matchups against Dallas's linebackers. Maybe Dallas even puts a safety on him. I just think Breece Hall is just game flow. It doesn't matter what game state or game flow you have with him. He's just a dog. He gets separation. He runs routes like a wide receiver. And I said it a few years ago, and I felt stupid when I said it last year. I said Breece Hall is this generation's Marshall Faulk. I mean, his career hasn't necessarily taken off yet. But, man, he's a great player. And when we see him leave the Jets after this year, everyone's going to see it. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. The best gambling show on the internet. The home of the money pick. Thank you, guys.